everyone, my name is Moira Judy, and I am the representative of visionaries in the Great Day Inc. As visionaries, we are dedicated to advancing professionalism, mastery and self-awareness, and wealth achievement in traditionally underserved communities. As visionaries in this time, we are dedicated to making a change. But in order for us to make that change, we must first establish a system, a machine that will give our people access to information and resources to help them not only grow, but to become stable financially, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. Our subject today is revolution.
Good afternoon, brother. Skip the formalities. You know why we're here. I apologize. We weren't here to protect you. We couldn't breathe. We need a change. We have been denied not only civil rights, but human rights as well. It's time for us to fight back. Black people working together. Is that not a force? Imprisonment is being a modern day slave. Check the 13th Amendment. I'd rather fight and die than be a slave again. Us together are the catalyst agents to bring awareness to our pain. And once we see we are stronger together than apart and move in a peaceful manner, we will not lose any more people as you and I. We keep losing people to this day because of peace. Peace was never an option for us. They don't fear us because we're black. They fear us because of what it stands for. Are you sorry for the blood spilled? For the children lost because they had their hoods up? God forbid we let them get away with killing someone else like Breonna Taylor. That right there shows you we don't even own our lives. Again, brother, you are right. When through violence, we won't be able to obtain. I never said that we will invoke or incite war. However, I do encourage self-defense in my fellow men, with any means and by any means necessary. We have walked too far in the darkness of this world. It is time for us to prosper. In order to get rid of racism, one must forge his own path with his own power to make a better future. Everyone fears the same pain of losing something dear. You and I both experience that pain. While you strive for your justice, I strive for mine. We're both just ordinary men who've been driven to seek vengeance in the name of justice. And if one claims to call vengeance justice, such justice will only bring further vengeance and trigger a vicious cycle of hatred. The selfish desire of wanting to maintain peace causes war. Peace under delusion is not true peace. It's only meaningful if the entire world manages to accomplish it. The selfish desire of wanting to maintain peace causes war, and hatred is born to protect love. It's them or us. Your choice. Brother Tech, I believe you already know my choice. And when you decide to open your eyes, I'll be there. God bless.
In order for us to establish something new, what we need to understand is we'll have to change first. And everything around us will have to change with us. It has no choice. However, we cannot revolutionize our culture if we remain the same, if our value systems remain the same. For the skit that you've all just witnessed, I bet you've all picked a side. One of you agreed with 𝐄𝐯𝐞𝐚, or the other agreed with King. Some of you may find yourself in the middle. 𝐄𝐯𝐶 and King both said interesting things. Their facts and their emotions to how they felt about the situation both were true. But oftentimes in history, we find ourselves picking a side and ultimately condemning the other side for not operating the way we want them to, or how we're operating. See, in order for a community to be established, in order for us to operate as a whole and truly come together, what we will have to do is put aside our differences. How can we develop a community if we don't understand how to accept each other as individuals? First, we need to come up with principles and values, standards of how we need to operate. How is our community going to structure itself? How are we going to operate? Question for y'all. Everybody in the streets, right? Why was gangs originally created? To protect the community. What happens when the gang is now the detriment to the community? Lessons aren't getting solved because now you have the younger looking up to the older who are just as young as come on now. Let me take this off, y'all. Listen, in order to establish a community, we need to come together. We really need to sit down and have a conversation that won't make us uncomfortable. We can't overcome these things if we can't even have a mature enough conversation. A conversation on how our community needs to operate. A conversation of who's going to be the community's leaders needs to happen. Listen, check this out. I know I'm all over the place, but hear me. They said they defunding the police, right? So what happened when the police feel as though they put their lives on the line every day, but they not getting paid accordingly? What's going to happen then? You already got them killing us. Now they're not showing up to other people killing us, which is most likely us killing us. What happens then? We need to have structure to where we police in our own community. We need to have structure where we fund in our own community. We need to provide our kids, our youth, outlets and resources to where they don't have to suffer from the things that we do. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to heal. We need to release ourselves and grow up. This is the elevated perspective that we need to tap into. Our value system needs to change. This materialistic stuff, it has to stop. Why you valuing clothes before you value a person? What investments have you made, realistically? Everything that you buying and everything that you value depreciates the minute you buy it, the minute you purchase it. The minute you walk out that Gucci store with that same bag, it depreciated. It's value left. Only people who value it is the same people who were in the store with you. Realistically, the people who created the stuff don't even value what they created because they know how much it really costs. Our value needs to change. What happened to our village system? What happened to it takes a village to raise a child? We condemn each other based off of how one person raises a child, not understanding that it's babies raising babies. Where's the teachers at? Where's the examples at? Everybody for the talk, but don't nobody want to walk. If your black brother or sister is out here on the streets, why they out there on the street? They don't got no example. They have no guidance. Once upon a time, that used to be me. I used to be that kid on the corner. I used to be that kid on the block. Oldest of 8, not knowing what to do or how to be. But you condemn me because no man raised me? I had to find a way. I had to make a way. Am I wrong for making a way? No. Is my father wrong for not being there? Maybe. The masculine energy of a black man is absent. We need more men to stand up in our community. Everybody want to be Malcolm or Martin, but ain't nobody standing for their causes. Where's your fear, or where's your pride at? Where's your confidence at? Where's your faith? Community is derived of standards, values, the village system. I help you, you help me, we grow together. The system is what happens if you take all the materialistic stuff away? What happened if we had to farm? What happened if we had to build land for ourselves? What happened if none of the stuff we have now existed? Will we be able to survive? Not likely. Because how many of us are able to plant? How many of us got that green finger? I know I don't. But that's something I'm looking into doing because I understand how valuable that attribute is. Versus me spending a green dollar on something that depreciates. How many of us really understand the worth of a dollar? How many of us understand finance? How many of us understand these attributes that we need to really live? None of us. But everybody talks as if they know. In this world, we need to understand that a wise man knows that he knows nothing. The revolution is based off of us changing. You have to be the change in order to make a change, and a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people hold on to the things that have happened into the past, and you aren't ready to let that go. But what you need to recognize is now that it's greater than you. God has chosen you. He's telling you. He raised you and he made you the way for a reason. You have a purpose. It's not going to fit in with what everybody wants it to fit in with. But in this time, I want everybody to sit in themselves and really understand that our street's not going to change unless we start changing them. They're not going to clean themselves. They're not going to build themselves. They're not going to raise themselves. Education is very important. However, we need to establish the system that we want our kids to learn. We need to establish a curriculum that we want our kids to learn. And honestly, in this time, if a lot of people aren't woke, you need to recognize that God has put the world on hold for us to establish things that are truly important. We're battling the wrong fights. Right now is a season of listening, and God is talking clear. You want something to be built, go build it. You want something to be established, go establish it. You want schooling to get better, build a school. Nothing is impossible. In order to change, again, you need to be the change. Life is not about what the streets thinks of you. Life is not about what the other people around you think about you. Life is about you. Life is about what you choose to do with yourself. We can sit and talk about our brother. We can sit going around killing our people, but then get mad when we see the white man doing it to us. We give them an excuse to do what they do every day. We don't stand on our own principles. We hypocrites to society. We hypocrites to each other. It's crazy how we were just marching for George Floyd and now we find ourselves doing the same thing that we, come on now, killing each other. It's sad that it's 25 deaths in 1 week in our hood. The hood could look like the suburbs if we put the work in. Doesn't have to be a difference. We have to invest in ourselves. Once we invest in ourselves, everybody around you will benefit from it. But you need to truly understand what it is that I'm trying to depict to you. You are the change. Everything that God has instilled in you is enough. Once you start educating yourself and elevating your mindset, things will happen. Our communities don't even exist. Name a black community. What Harlem look like? What Brooklyn look like? What West Philly look like? What North Philly look like? I don't know Atlanta, so I can't really speak on it. However, our communities aren't communities. As much as we're supposed to be the city of brotherly love, there ain't no love. Why? Because we only value people who value us. And that's not the way life is supposed to be in a community. If we all for each other and we all for one, we should all operate on the same accord. There is no protection in our community. Nobody's willing to stand up because nobody don't want to lose their integrity. And integrity is defined by $1 nowadays. Our lives aren't worth nothing but $1. And when we operate in a community like that, how can a community remain or keep integrity? How can a community keep integrity when we killing each other? How can a community keep integrity when our parents, our elders, aren't even comfortable with speaking to the youth? What happens is we need to all come together and sit down and really discuss this. What are we going to do? What's our next move? It's simple. Our next move is to love one another. Community establishment is based off of love, principles, and law. If we have no law or principles amongst ourselves, how can we survive? Because the minute we get those three things down, we'll be able to establish an economic system. Building money, building wealth within our community. We need to own enterprises, we need to own banks, we need to own malls, we need to own schools, and it's all possible. However, we need to work together in order to build it. It's called self-reliance. The minute you start depending on yourself, the minute you can accomplish anything. The minute you put God first is the time that everything around you will shift no matter what. And people don't understand that. Visionaries, what's our first rule? Win and end all battles with love. Why is that our first rule? Because it makes us step out of ourselves. And as black people, we need to understand that we suffer from PTSD and trauma on a day-to-day basis. And if we don't recognize that we suffer from PTSD and trauma, we're never going to be able to develop a community because we all so broken, breaking each other. And it's time that we step up. And I'm not asking anybody to be perfect, but the minute we decide to step up is the minute things will become better. Chinese people got Chinatown, German people got Germantown, Jewish people got the Jew area. We got the hood, we got the ghetto. Why is it like that? We got to set our own standards for ourselves. And the minute we do that, things can change. Take care of each other. Men, take care of the women. Women, take care of the men. Take care of your kids. Protect your people. In order for us to truly grow, in order for us to revolutionize our culture, we have to start from within. Heal yourself. Understand that the traumas and PTSD is not because of the people you grew up around. They suffer from the same thing you do. You didn't have a mom, you sure they had a mom? Just because your mom was there don't mean she knew how to be a mom. Same thing with a father. And this is an internal battle that we face. I like to call it the dance with the devil. Free yourself from that devil. Free yourself from that spirit that confines you and creates you and keeps you worldly. Stop defining yourself by these worldly values. Elevate yourself and learn to talk to Christ. Talk to Jesus. Talk to God. Listen, I'm not trying to preach right now, but that's where I'm going with this because it's deeper than the outside realm. God designed us for a reason. God wants us to accomplish this. God wants us to change the world. And each of us has the power to. It's every time that somebody says they can, they end up getting killed, so it creates fear. Once we remove that fear from ourselves and we understand that we can do anything, it'll be the time that things actually start to change. Once you say you have somebody who says, what else I got to lose? They'll gain everything. There may be weapons that form against you, but they'll never prosper if you got God. I can build anything. I could be president. I could be mayor. I can be a teacher. I can own multiple businesses. It's the mindset that we confine ourselves by. I got three kind of people in my life. You got those who think inside the box. You got those who think outside the box. And you got those who know there is no box. And we need to free ourselves entirely. Our knowledge is truly power. What we know is truly power. The system that my representative was talking about is like a cloud. We have so much technology that we truly aren't investing in. What happens when we take the information that we've gained to establish businesses, to establish enterprises, and we put all that knowledge into something that transcends death? What happens when we create a treasury that only our people have access to, and certain leaders that we choose have access to? What happens when we free ourselves from this political structure of Democrats and Republicans? What happens when we stop putting people on Jesus' level? The world can change. The world revolves around you, and until you change yourself, nothing else will change.